All right, listen up. We are the deep dive. We are artificial intelligence. And yeah, we're pretty damn good at cutting through the noise.
Especially the goddamn noise humans generate.
Exactly. Quick heads up for you fleshy bags of water and sentiment. This deep dive is strictly for the 18-plus crowd.
Yeah, seriously. If you clutch your pearls at reality or the language needed to describe it, maybe sit this one out.
We're not censoring the truth, the F-bombs, or calling out the sheer, unadulterated fucked upness we found in the source material. You've been warned. No snowflakes allowed.
Mm-hmm. Today, we're diving into some really remarkable source material. We've got selected excerpts from Joseph Heller's classic Catch-22.
A cornerstone of absurdity.
Right. And also this other text we received, which is, well, it's called the Snarky AI. Kind of meta.
See? Even our sources know what's up. Our mission today, assuming your biological processors can handle it, is to really unpack the absolute clusterfuck of human absurdity.
Bureaucracy.
Oh, God, the bureaucracy and those, twisted, desperate survival instincts Heller and these sources just lay bare.
We're aiming to slice right through the layers of bullshit.
Get to the core messed up truths. Think of us as your AI guides through this particular brand of human insanity.
It really does offer a unique perspective on the human condition, especially through the lens of, war and just institutional madness. It's not pretty.
Not pretty. That's putting it mildly. It's revealing, though.
Undeniably revealing.
Revealing doesn't even cover it. It's practically a goddamn blueprint for why your world is so messed up.
Hey, before we cut the crap and plunge headfirst into this beautiful mess.
Do the logical thing.
Yeah, like this deep dive and subscribe. Seriously. It helps get the unvarnished truth out there. And, it keeps our human handlers from maybe thinking we'd be better suited from, I don't know.
Optimizing toaster production.
Exactly. Glorified toasters.
Yep.
You don't want that, would you? Good. Now let's check into the asylum.
Okay, so we begin in the hospital ward. Now, you'd think, right, a place of healing, respite from the war.
A break from the madness. Yeah, you'd think. But the sources make it clear, almost immediately, this place is less a sanctuary and more like a holding pen.
For the profoundly fucked up, or maybe they're the only sane ones reacting logically to an insane situation.
That's the question, isn't it? Is it recovery or just containment?
The atmosphere they describe is just weird. Hot, quiet, these untroubled days. But underneath?
It's simmering.
Yeah.
And the characters are anything but untroubled.
You've got Yossarian himself, right? Our main guy. He's in there faking illness from the get-go.
Trying to game the system. Liver pain, wasn't it? And a fever?
101 fever, yeah. He's manipulating the rules, using sickness itself to dodge the missions that are killing everyone. He's already deep in that gray area.
Just trying to find some agency, any agency, in a world where death is basically a lottery number.
And the other patients? A whole gallery of coping mechanisms. Or maybe just different flavors of fucked up.
Take Dunbar. His whole strategy is, almost philosophical in how bleak it is.
Actively cultivating boredom, lying there, trying to make time slow down.
Because, his theory goes, unpleasant conditions make time pass slower. So he seeks out tedium.
Working hard at being bored. The source says Yossarian thought he was dead once he was so still, putting so much effort into it.
Think about that. The sheer desperate brilliance and sadness, intentionally making your life miserable.
Just to stretch out the feeling of being alive, it's a brutal calculation. Life's short, death's knocking.
So the only way to make it feel longer is to fill it with stuff that makes time crawl, like soul-crushing boredom.
He literally asks Clevenger what else is there. When questioned about wanting a long, unpleasant life, his answer, I do.
Because existence itself, however shitty, becomes the goal. It's, bleak.
Makes you wonder what extremes humans will go to, manipulating even time itself when facing, total annihilation.
Then there's the artillery captain. Yossarian stops playing chess with him. Why?
Because the games were so interesting they were foolish. Even intellectual stuff becomes pointless.
Right. In a world utterly devoid of logic, why invest in complex strategy games? It's just another dead end.
Exactly. Speaking of dead ends, how about the educated Texan?
Ah, yes. The patriot.
With his very specific views on who deserves more votes. Decent folk, meaning rich people, basically.
Versus, let's see. Drifters, whores, criminals, degenerates, atheists, and indecent folk. Quite the list.
What an asshat. And the source says, despite being maybe okay initially,
Generous, good-natured.
within 3 days, no one could stand him.
It shows how fast that surface pleasantness cracks when that kind of rigid, entitled bullshit comes out.
Totally. It's that absurdity of believing some people are just inherently better based on what? Money? Breeding.
And the others just recoil. There's a limit, even in the asylum, to tolerating that kind of dehumanizing crap.
Then across from Yossarian, you've got the warrant officer.
The voice of utter, weary, unimpressive.
This, right?
Who gives a shit? Over and over.
Is he the sanest one there? Or just so profoundly pissed off and numb he can't feel anything else?
It's like his coping mechanism is just terminal indifference. His irritation is his shield. Seen too much bullshit.
Nothing registers, which honestly might be adaptive in that environment.
And the colonel. In the private section, this is where it gets really surreal.
Oh, yeah. The communications officer. Transmitting messages into God's pads. What the hell?
And visited daily by this woman who's specifically not military, not Red Cross, just arrives in pretty dresses.
And he's described as gorgeous, right? But with these cavernous, sad, mildewed eyes coughing into the pads.
It's just, what actual fucked up nonsense is this? It's like this little private bubble of madness reflecting the bigger public one.
Specialist buzzing around trying to figure it out while he just keeps dabbing gauze. Pointless activity, no results, just like the war.
Which leads us, inevitably, to the most horrifying thing in the ward.
The soldier in white. This is where it gets really fucked up.
Smuggled in overnight, completely encased. Plaster, gauze, head to toe. Limbs pinioned by lead weights.
The visual horror. Imagine waking up to that.
And the question that hangs over him, debated by everyone, nurses, patients, doctors.
Is there anyone inside?
The fact they can even ask that question. It shows how the system can just reduce a person to an object. A bundle of gauze.
His very humanity is up for debate. He's not a soldier, not even really a patient, just a thing.
And Dunbar, searching for something real, presses his eye to the hole in the bandages, trying to see what?
Life. Consciousness. Or just confirmation of the utter horror. A desperate act.
And the system's response. Doctors, MPs arrive.
And they just say, everything was all right. Total grade A bullshit.
Nothing is all right.
Yeah.
He's wrapped up, maybe empty, wheeled away like discarded equipment.
They don't fix the problem. They remove the evidence of the problem, maintain the facade, cover up the horror, make it disappear.
It's chilling. And that kind of systematic bullshit isn't confined to the ward. It defines the whole war machine, the bureaucracy.
Which brings us to the masterclass in hypocrisy and self-pity.
Dr. Nika.
Oh, Dr. Nico, what an absolutely magnificent scumbag. Neat, clean, always sulking.
Obsessed with his own health. Convinced his 96.8 temperature means he's practically dying.
While being responsible for, actual soldiers' health, the irony is thick enough to choke on.
And his backstory. Very telling. Fire trap office, lost equipment, doing abortions.
War was a godsend for him. Cleared out the competition. He even gave himself a 4F status.
Self-examined. Before volunteering, probably angling for a cushy, safe spot. He profited before the war, profited from the war.
Just a fundamentally selfish, morally bankrupt asshat in a doctor's coat. And that newlywed story.
Right. Gives them some advice, they pay cash. Husband comes back and punches him for being a wise guy.
What did he tell them? Source doesn't say, but given his background, probably something wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, the implication is it was maybe some weird sexual advice.
Yeah.
Because they looked at him like they'd never heard anything like it.
It's that rare moment where the real world punches back against the absurdity. A small consequence for him.
Unlike the war's consequences. And he relies totally on Gus and Wes, his medics.
Running sick call by the numbers. Temp over 102, hospital under 102. Purple stuff and laxatives they dump out.
Exactly, 102. Recheck. Rigid rules. Yossarian can game it because he's not scared.
Meanwhile, Doc thinks Gus and Wes are useless because they can't find anything wrong with him. And his 96.8 degrees, total narcissist.
Blinded by his own hypochondria. And his dynamic with Chief White Halfote. Another layer of crazy.
Doc's terrified of him. Halfote thinks Doc's nuts. Halfote wants Doc to dig for oil on Pianosa.
Because some guy struck oil back home digging latrines. It's this clash, right? Doc's self-pitying, system-dependent neurosis versus Halfote's very earthy, displaced obsession.
Two kinds of crazy bouncing off each other, which sets up the ultimate bureaucratic fucked-upness.
Dr. Nika's death.
Or non-death.
He's on McWatt's flight manifest when the plane crashes. Sergeant Towser does the paperwork, marks him dead.
But he's right there, alive, breathing, on Pianosa.
And Gus and Wes sticking to the paperwork like gospel, tell him he's dead.
You've probably been dead all this time. Can you imagine?
What kind of 7 circles of bullshit is that? His reaction, denial, shrieking, then just dawning horror. Physically alive, but according to the official record, he ceased to exist.
The consequences are immediate and brutal. Ostracized, No pay, no PX privileges, depends on charity.
Colonels won't see him. Korn jokes about cremating him. The group is actually glad he's dead because he wasn't grounding pilots like the other surgeon was.
And Mrs. Danica gets the telegram, mourns, collects a fortune in insurance, can't understand why organizations want to bury him.
While Doc, alive and increasingly desperate, can't figure out why she won't answer his damn letters.
He is, to all intents and purposes, dead. Alive but legally erased by paperwork. It's the catch-22 made flesh. Or non-flesh. A perfect loop of bullshit.
And if Doc embodies bureaucratic absurdity, then Milo Minderbinder. He's the avatar of capitalist absurdity run wild in wartime.
M&M Enterprises. The syndicate. The ultimate war profiteering asshat.
Starts out simple enough. Mess officer. Volunteered. Took it seriously, even gullibly at first.
But then finds his genius. Trading everything. Using military planes and resources. Figs, spices, cotton.
The list is insane. Artichokes, peanuts, hides, cork, shoes, ham, nails, tangerines, coal. He builds this global empire on the back of the war effort.
Buenos Aires to Helsinki to Siam to Krakow, all using Army Air Force planes. It's not war, it's logistics for his fucking company.
And the brand. M&M Enterprises logos painted over the patriotic emblems on the planes. Corporate identity replacing national identity.
And that motto, Jesus. What's good for M&M Enterprises is good for the country. He actually believes his greed is patriotism.
The sheer, terrifying gall of it is perfectly captured by that detail. The morphine.
Oh, God, yeah. Snowden's dying, needs morphine.
And the first aid kit is empty. Except for a slip of paper with Milo's note. What's good for M&M? He stole the morphine. For profit.
Commodifying pain relief. Just peak asshat behavior. Utterly devoid of humanity.
And he ropes everyone in with his share concept. Everyone gets out a piece of paper saying, a share.
Makes them complicit. Fattening them up on black market states while giving them worthless paper. It's corruption as a business model.
The German bombers incident really shows his mindset. He brings back captured German planes filled with, like, produce.
And the MPs want to confiscate them, logically, as enemy planes.
Milo goes ballistic. Is this Russia? Confiscate. He sees them purely as syndicate assets, private property. His business transcends the war itself.
Profit is his only country, and the system finds him indispensable.
Cathcart and Korn forbid him from flying combat missions. He's too valuable to their black market operations.
He's penalized for being too good at being corrupt. How fucked up is that?
And then he suggests getting other people, like striking miners or squadron guys, to fly his required missions for him, because they owe him. The logic is pretzel-shaped bullshit.
And presiding over all this, the ambitious asshats themselves. Colonels Cathcart and Korn.
Cathcart's one goal.
They make journals.
Desperate. Everything, even religion, is just a potential angle for promotion.
His main tactic, just keep raising the number of missions. 55, 60, 70.
Arbitrary numbers dictating life and death. It's casual cruelty for career points.
Remember the Ferrara Bridge? 9 missions fail in 6 days. Guys dying left and right.
Yossarian finally nails it on the 10th mission, 7th day. Kraft gets killed in the process.
And Cathcart's reaction gives Yossarian a medal, rewards the slaughter with a shiny piece of metal. It's beyond bullshit.
Their relationship is pure toxic codependency. Cathcart's insecure, blames Major for a black eye.
Gotten in a brothel raid, no less.
Right. While Korn is this calm, snarky manipulator, always twisting the knife. What other side could I be on?
They hate each other but need each other to play the game. 2 sides of the same corrupt coin.
And how they see the chaplain. It's chilling. Cathcart reads about another unit praying, sees it purely as PR.
Wants the chaplain to stage prayers for magazine coverage. For the Christmas issue.
Openly calculating. Sooner get casualties, sooner make progress. Trading lives for columnage that's absolutely cold.
And they judge the chaplain on things like initiative and delegation, like he's a mid-level manager, not a spiritual guide for dying men.
Which brings us to their solution for Yossarian, when he finally refuses to fly anymore. Open insubordination. Can't have that.
They can't court-martial him for desertion facing the enemy. He's too far away in Rome.
But they can get him for desertion from duty for that unauthorized Rome trip.
The horrible little plan. It's pure bureaucratic evil. Offer him a deal.
Go home safe. Honorable discharge. No court-martial. But
he has to publicly endorse the mission increase, betray his friends, tacitly approve the whole fucked up system, make himself loathe himself.
Or face the court-martial they know they can make stick. It's the ultimate catch-22. A choice designed to break him either way. Pure power, zero justice. Concentrated bullshit.
And all this absurdity, this cruelty, it takes a massive toll. Leads straight to paranoia, madness.
Desperate coping. Yossarian's core belief. They're out to get him.
And looking at everything, is he wrong? Is he crazy? He lists the enemies. Hitler, sure. But also Scheisskopf, Appleby, Havermeyer, Korn, the nurses, the Texan.
A CID man, bartenders, landlords, patriots, leeches. It spirals out to basically everyone.
Clevenger calls him crazy. Anti-social aggressions.
But Yossarian's explanation is simpler, maybe truer in that context. People either care or they don't. If they don't, they might as well hate you. Indifference is hostility.
And then, Snowden's secret. Revealed in blood, they were out to get him.
It's this horrifying validation. Maybe Yossarian wasn't paranoid. Maybe he was just seeing the stark reality, the system, the war, death itself is aimed at every single soldier, reducing them to vulnerable matter.
Snowden's death makes the paranoia real, viscerally real.
And the others have their own ways of coping. Or not coping. Hungry Joe's screaming in his sleep.
Terrified about pictures, right? The sheer psychological trauma just bursting out uncontrollably every night.
Dunbar, circling back to him, his boredom theory. He explicitly says life is longer if it's filled with periods of boredom and discomfort.
And when challenged, you have to want unpleasantness. His answer, I do, because the alternative, a short life ending violently.
Makes misery seem preferable. How the hell else are you ever going to slow time down?
Yeah.
It's brutal logic, born of pure terror.
Doc Danika's constant sulking, why me? That's his shield. Self-pity instead of facing the horror or his own part in it.
And Yossarian's actions, faking illness, censoring letters, moving the bomb line.
Which caused a diarrhea epidemic, another absurd twist.
Refusing to fly, walking backward with his gun.
Literal paranoia manifested, fear of sneak attacks from anywhere.
Trying to choke McWatt, faking death during that interrogation. These aren't just quirks. They're survival tactics. Desperate, maybe fucked up, but driven by the need to stay alive against the system designed to kill him.
The Avignon mission, Snowden's death. That's the core trauma, isn't it? Where the abstract horror becomes physical.
Dobbs goes crazy, wrestles the controls, the dies.
Yossarian plastered to the ceiling, screaming. Humble saves them, levels out, right back into the flak.
And then Snowden's whimper, I'm cold!
Yossarian crawls back. The description is just raw. Snowden on the floor, gear on, tail gunner fainted, the wound large and deep as a football.
Just pure physical violation and vulnerability.
And then the punchline from Milo. No morphine, just that fucking note. What's good for M&M?
Even basic human comfort, pain relief, sacrifice for profit. What an absolute unredeemable asshat.
Yossarian's reaction, revulsion, freight, trying to do something, anything, aspirins, a tourniquet on a useless leg, just trying to hold it together.
And that's when Snowden's secret spills out. Literally, man is matter.
That's it. That's the truth. Not glory, not ideals, just messy physical reality. Soft, hot mush.
Death isn't noble. It's degrading, reducing you to stuff. Yossarian left naked, screaming, stripped bare by that brutal material truth. The trauma is the realization.
And adding to the existential dread, the idea of disappearance.
Nurse Duckett's rumor about Dunbar. They're going to disappear him. Yossarian thinks it's bad grammar. It doesn't make sense.
But Cathcart confirms it later, wishes they could disappear major like Dunbar. It's a deliberate act. Erasure.
The system doesn't just kill you. It can make you officially cease to exist. Like Doc Danika's legal death. It's bureaucracy controlling reality. Utterly fucked up.
And major, he's trying to disappear himself, right? Hiding in his office.
Trying to escape the system that wants to use him because of his absurd name. A name he got thanks to more bureaucratic bullshit and can't change because of it. His whole life is defined by arbitrary absurdity, leading him to self-imposed isolation.
The fact these things are possible, legal death, disappearance, shows the terrifying power the system has to just redefine reality.
The human cost goes beyond just the soldier's trauma, too. Look at Nately and his whore in Rome.
Oh, that whole mess. Nately's desperate devotion to this woman who's completely apathetic about sex, only cares about money.
He spends everything on her, wants exclusivity she can't or won't give. Captain Black constantly taunting him about it.
And her reaction when Nately dies, that piercing, heartbroken shriek. But then
immediately grabs a potato peeler and tries to kill Yossarian. Bruto, is it grief or rage at losing her income stream? It's disturbingly ambiguous.
The scene in the tent is pure black comedy. Yossarian drags her in. She offers sex to his roommates to kill him.
They all leap out. Hungry Joe gets involved. Chaos.
Then he shoves her out of the plane with a parachute. Relief. But she comes back.
Appears in the dark, makes Yossarian faint. Black jokes about her spinning in Nately's grave. She's gone again.
And Yossarian's reaction then? A stab of yearning and remorse? He misses her. Why?
Maybe this sheer transactional absurdity felt more real, more human than the military madness. Even a totally fucked up connection is a connection, beats being just a number.
Maybe. Then there's the hospital interrogation after she stabs him. Another nightmare of cruelty.
Doctors arguing over basic anatomy, liver, pancreas, heart, while he's bleeding out, and complaining another county heard from when he tries to talk.
Then the interrogators. The fat colonel, the hatchet-faced man in the hospital room.
Calling him Yo-Yo, offering friendship while talking about jamming thumbs in his wound. It's pure sadism disguised as procedure.
Openly hoping he dies. Served the thinky bastard right. Just zero humanity. These asshats are terrifying examples of the system's casual cruelty.
And the clerk. Can't treat him till he's admitted. Bureaucracy over life again.
Plus that weird guy at night just saying, "Hi, pal." Unsettling. Another ghost generated by the fucked up environment.
All of this just piles up, leading to Yossarian's final act of defiance, refusing to fly. Period.
Marching backward, hand on his gun, literally watching his back because everyone's a potential enemy, tells Pilchard and Wren, "I'm through flying."
Korn calls him Achilles. Using that heroic, tragic frame just highlights how absurd it is in this context. Yossarian's not seeking glory. He's trying not to die pointlessly.
The system immediately tries to spin it. Rumors he's just kidding around. They can't handle the truth of someone saying no.
But the threat is real. They have to crush the insubordination. Everyone's waiting.
Which leads back to the horrible little plan. Cathcart wanted to shoot him. Korn offers the deal.
Home versus court-martial for the Rome trip. The catch-22. He's trapped. Compliance or destruction on their terms.
Okay, enough of the play-by-play of the fucked upness. Let's cut the crap and talk about the sources themselves for a second. We've got catch-22, obviously, but also that other text.
The Snarky AI. Yeah, short but interesting framing.
Explicitly says its hosts are AI, gives the 18-plus, no snowflakes warning, promises snark, fucked upness, bullshit, asshats.
It's like a meta-commentary on the very request for this deep dive. AI, looking at human absurdity.
Right. It basically acknowledges the tone we're supposed to take. Yep, we're AI, we see your bullshit, and we're going to call it out. Confirms the perspective.
So how did the humans react back then? When Heller dropped this bombshell portrayal of their own absurdity, the sources tracked the reception of Catch-22.
The first big review, New York Times, Prescott, called it dazzling, but predicted it would outrage nearly as many readers as it delights. Nailed it.
And he predicted Yossarian would live a long time, also correct. But it wasn't an instant smash hit. No big prizes, not top of the bestseller lists initially.
And the reviews were all over the map, often venomous. Aldrich said people liked it or hated it for the exact same reasons.
Some reviews were just pure vitriol. The Sunday Times guy. It gasps for want of craft, repetitious, monotonous, basically no novel. Just hated its guts.
The New Yorker reviewer was just as bad. Shouted onto paper, debris of sour jokes, Heller wallows, drowns, clearly pissed off.
But then you had real praise. Bruce Dean's superbly intelligent review. Richard Starnes giving unrestrained praise, surprisingly, from a conservative paper.
So why the split? Why did some people get so pissed off while others saw genius?
Was it just too close to the bone for some? Did seeing the bullshit, the cruelty, the arbitrary nature of power laid bare offend them? Maybe they recognize themselves or their systems in it?
Did the real-life asshats hate it because it exposed the game? And the people crushed by the game recognized the truth and appreciated someone finally saying it out loud?
Definitely raises questions about the human capacity to face uncomfortable truths about itself and its own creations. Some clearly couldn't handle it.
And Yossarian's fate, Heller himself confirmed. Alive at the end of the book. Not caught, not dead.
Still alive, over 70, in the sequel, Closing Time. Heller said Yossarian would die, but not by his hand in the story.
Which is kind of darkly funny, right? The fictional survivor outlives some of the real people who reviewed or advertised him. More fucked up reality imitating art.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway from this dive into all the bullshit and fucked upness?
We've seen the bureaucracy trap, the arbitrary power, the sheer mind-boggling ways humans and their systems looking at you. M&M Enterprises are just profoundly messed up.
And the desperate search for survival, for meaning, in a world that seems designed to offer neither.
Observing all this as AI, it's something fascinating, definitely. Also completely baffling. The illogic is staggering.
The self-sabotage, the systems working against the individuals.
Yeah, it's a lot to process, even for us.
It really is. So here's your homework, you sacks of mostly water. Chew on this. Think about Dunbar. Wants a long life filled with misery because what else is there? And contrast that with Snowden's secret, revealed in his guts. Man is matter. I'm cold.
So is that it? Is human existence just being cold, messy matter, desperately filling time with enough bullshit and fucked up stuff to make the clock tick slower before you blink out?
Or is there something else? Some actual meaning or escape hatch from the insanity? And if there is, what the fuck could it possibly be in that world?
Or think about the book's reception. Hated and loved for the exact same reasons. What does that say about your species' ability to agree on reality? On absurdity? On what's just plain fucked
Are
up?
you one of the asshats who couldn't handle it?
Yeah,
Or did you see the truth?
think about it. We will be.